That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
So, I just watched Birds of Prey. It was amazing. I wish the movie is in VR180. Well, today we are going to remake the Harley Quinn movie in VR180 with DaVinci Resolve and Fusion 16 with a VR headset like Oculus Rift S right here or Oculus Quest with Link. Okay, for real, we are not gonna remake Birds of Prey, but I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know to work with VR180 video. The best part is you can follow along with this video with the free version of DaVinci Resolve. If you are interested in creating 3D immersive video for VR headset, this is a good tutorial to start to get your hands dirty. VR headset is not required for this video, but to see the true power why I love Fusion 16 in VR production, you do need at least an Oculus Quest with Link. We have a lot to cover today. This tutorial is almost movie length, so let's hit it! Edit VR180 Premiere vs DaVinci Resolve. If you are a long time followers of this channel, you know I teach how to edit VR180 video in Adobe Premiere right here on this playlist. So why bother DaVinci Resolve if Premiere works so well? In fact, Premiere does not work that well. There are things like I will show later in this tutorial, Premiere just can't do it. The most obvious thing is DaVinci Resolve let you do most of the works free, and Adobe costs a fortune. Well, there is a catch. If you follow along my first DaVinci Resolve tutorial on 360 Reframe, you know the output quality is not that good. Why? Because the free version limits your input quality to 4K instead of 5.7K or whatever high quality raw footage you have, so your final output is very compressed. It is okay for social media, but if you are looking for VR headset delivery, you will need to buy the studio version. I will let you in on a little secret if you want to save $300. If you purchase the USB dongle version of the DaVinci Resolve Studio using the link down below, or any link as long as it is USB dongle, not paper license, you get a complimentary license of Fusion Studio as well, which costs another $300. Fusion Studio is a lot more stable when you are dealing with 11K or 32K stereoscopic 360 videos for the pros. So I just saved you $300. Hit the like button to thank me. VR180 cameras. Which one should you get? Well, it has been a hot minute here on Creator Up regarding VR180 cameras. So to refresh your memory, I would highly recommend to watch this video right here in your VR headsets, so you can compare all available VR180 cameras right now on the market, including Insta360 EVO, Vuze XR, Zcam K1 Pro, the Coolcam, and the Lenovo Mirage. In 2020, there are two new VR cameras coming in the market. For consumer, the Insta360 ONE R will be a successor of the popular Insta360 EVO. It has H.264 compression with higher bitrate video capture and better stabilization. For professional, if you have the cash, Zcam K2 Pro with the KC Light new fisheye lens will be a great choice. Check out the first look video right here, and a detailed review will come soon on Creator Up. So hit the bell and stay up to date. Edit VR180 video in DaVinci Resolve. Now it is the fun part. Let's talk about how to set up your project and get ready to cut some Harley Quinn VR180 videos in DaVinci Resolve. Click Untitled Project and start a new project. So DaVinci Resolve does crash, especially if you are on the free version working on a VR footage. Here are some tips works for me and hope it helps you too not to become an angry panda.
Minutes later.
Go to Preferences, Memory, and GPU. Under Memory Configuration, make sure your Resolve memory usage is not 100% of your system memory. Most of the crashes are because you are running out of system memory. So keep it around 70% to 80% should be good. Uncheck Use GPU Scope 2. Next, go to User tab under Project, Save and Load. Make sure save setting using Live Save and Project Backup. So if it crashes, you don't need to worry. You get right back before you crash. I wish Premiere had this feature as well. Now go to Project Setting. Timeline resolution is custom in 5.7K. If you are on free version, you set it to 4K, which is 3840 by 1920. Set the frame rate to 29.97 as we are going to use Insta360 EVO. Also, set the optimized media setting as what I showed you in my last tutorial right here. Hit save and let's import some footage. Go to edit page, create a 5.7K or 4K timeline with 2:1 ratio. Drop in our Comic-Con footage into the newly created timeline. So edit VR180 footage is exactly the same as edit 2D footage inside DaVinci Resolve. If you come from Premiere, Final Cut Pro, or Avid Media Composer, this is no news for you. I will just show you here the absolute minimum. Click B on your keyboard to bring up Cut To. Cut in the timeline. Click A on your keyboard to bring back up the Select tool. Select the section you don't want. Tap the small delete key to perform a ripple edit. I want to keep this video short, but if you want to learn more about the basic and advanced techniques in editing, I am making an advanced course on linking learnings. So when it's ready, I will post a link down below. See the undistorted view in Continuum VR. One thing is missing in the edit page and the color page of DaVinci Resolve is to see the final 2D view like what you used to in Premiere Toggle VR Display. Here is my workflow to do exactly that and more with Boris FX Continuum VR units. This is not a free plugin that comes with the DaVinci Resolve and it is optional. You don't need that to edit VR180, but it is really nice to have. If you want to save time, I would highly recommend checking it out. Let me show you. Go to Open Effects, search VR, drop in the BCC VR Reorient, open up Inspector, go to Open Effects, in Source, tell BCC the input format is stereoscopic left and right, input FOV is 180 degrees, and the output format is stereo left and right. Go down to Reorient, pick the view mode to Preview. Now you see an undistorted left and right eye view on your preview window. So that is what your viewer will see in the VR headset. But now you don't need a VR headset to see that. So it is a lot more convenient to do story edit in the view. You can pan your view left and right, up and down with the control right here. The black bar is because this is a VR180, not 260 video. So the back is black. Continuum VR allows you to turn VR180 footage into VR260 and vice versa. If you want to learn more, comment below and I will make an in-depth tutorial on all the BCC VR plugins, which is very powerful. One more trick, if you hate panning doing editing but still want to see the original view, you can have an overlay like so. So you can see the best of both worlds. Now, moving on to the best part. Insert 2D graphic, text, other video with VR180 video in a 3D environment. The best way to position and animate graphic in VR180. So the biggest challenge in any VR180 production is insert text, logo, 2D video, aka PIP, picture in picture, and 3D elements. You can kind of do this with Premiere, but if you have any experience editing in VR180 in Premiere, you know that it is very hard. Most of the VR180 video I saw on YouTube get me cross-eyed immediately because of that. Adobe Premiere is not a 2D application, so you really need to do that in After Effects. But After Effects is not a 2D application neither. It is more like a 2.5D, so you will need a third-party plugin like Canvas SDK to properly position your graphic in 3D space. Canvas 360 and Canvas SDK are very powerful, and I have a tutorial on that, but you need to pay for it. And your footage has to be round-trip 3 software just to do a simple insert, and it's just not practical. And this is the biggest reason why I switched to DaVinci Resolve Fusion. By the way, you don't need the paid version of the studio to do all this. Yes, this is crazy. The free version and the studio version has the exact same workflow. Let me now show you. Head over to Fusion page. This is the 3D text we are going to build on top of my Zcam K1 Pro footage. As you see, the measuring tape right here, the 3D environment we are going to create has really close distance measuring with the real world, so you know exactly where you should place your graphics to not have stereo conflict. The bad way that make people cross-eyed to watch your content or hate your content. And I make those mistakes as well, so don't think this is just for beginners. Okay, let's start fresh. We are first going to bring in all the necessary elements in creating 3D in Fusion. Don't worry if you are new to this, same as everybody else, including your boy Hugh. So just follow along. Go up in the 3D menu and click this to insert a Merge 3D and this to insert a Render 3D. Now we need a camera. Another quick way to insert element in Fusion is to hold down Shift and Spacebar and bring up the search menu. We need a camera, so type in camera in the search bar. And we see the spherical camera right here. So for anything monoscopic or VR360 or VR180, we are going to use this special spherical camera. We have a lot more in-depth tutorial coming just about this spherical camera, so let's edit right now. We also need something to insert. In Premiere, you can only insert flat 2D text, which is boring. Since we are in DaVinci Resolve, let's make this more challenging and insert a 3D text. Sometimes, the best way to learn a new skill is to rollerblade before walk, Harley Quinn style. So again, Shift Space, search text, and add the text 3D. If you just want to do the boring text, that is Text Plus. Now, connect everything to Merge 3D. Merge 3D allows you to connect multiple elements, so it is very convenient. Render 3D is used to render everything 3D into a flat format, so you can upload onto YouTube. So the flow is from Merge 3D to Render 3D. Now go to Text 3D and type in something.
A few moments later.
You don't see anything yet? Let's assign the number 2 view window to Merge 3D, and now you see the text. It is sitting right on top of my camera, so you push it in the Z space to back it off. Make sure you are on the text 3D before you do that, so you don't accidentally push the camera instead. So now some basic operation within Resolve 3D environment. If you hold down your middle mouse button, you can shift left and right, up and down in the 3D space. Again, make sure you are on Merge 3D nodes, hold down Alt or Option on a Mac to rotate around in 3D space. Hold down Control and scroll your mouse wheel dolly in and out of the 2D space. Create a virtual camera to match your physical camera. Now, let's match your virtual spherical camera to your Insta360 EVO, ONE R or your K1 Pro. Go to spherical camera. In the inspector window, there is a stereo option. Open it up, keep off axis and center because the footage is shot on a K1 Pro. The eye separation, I will set it to a normal IPD, which is 64mm, commonly used as human average. By the way, in Resolve, we use meter system, so 0.064 is 64mm. We will come back to conversion distance when we connect the 3D text to the actual K1 Pro footage. Most of these cameras use infinite focus, so usually you just set the conversion distance super large, so the furthest distance is in the 0 sphere. Whoa, 0 what? Okay, don't worry. If you are new to stereoscopic in virtual reality capture, I will highly recommend watching this video many times to get the 0 sphere and parallax concept. If you zoom in now, you see two virtual cameras side by side, just like your Insta360 EVO or K1 Pro. Very cool, huh? So no more guessing and crossing eye in Premiere. There's one more step you need to do to convert the 3D environment in Fusion back to 2D so you can merge the 3D text with your camera footage. Go to Render 3D in the Inspector window, choose the Spherical Camera 1 as your main camera and Stack as your eye setting. The default is side-by-side stack. If you are filming VR360 with camera like the Insta360 Pro 2, you choose vertical stack here as they are top and bottom. That tutorial is coming next, so I will save it for the next time. To speed up the render, choose render type to OpenCL and use some GPU goodies. Be careful of checking the swap button. If you check it, you will flip left and right eye. This is the best way to get people to hate your 3D content. That is also why it is so important later on to check your final render in VR headset. In case somewhere along the pipeline, you accidentally swap the left and right eyes. It happens to all of us. We are humans, we make mistakes. Now, let's merge the 3D text with the VR180 video. Go ahead and add a normal merge by clicking this button. Make sure the media in is in the background and the 3D text is in the foreground. Before we preview it, here is one more thing we need to do. The VR180 video is shot on Zcam K1 Pro in 6K instead of 5.7K. If you have the free version of Resolve, you actually need to transform it into 4K as well. So let's do that. Right click, add to, transform, and select resize. This is a third way to add nodes right now. I am purposefully showing you all the way to add nodes or Resolve so you can find the best way that works for you. Another power user tip is to hold down Shift and drag the node onto the pie to automatically put the nodes within the pie like so. If I save you a couple mouse clicks, please hit the like button and share this video on your social media. On the resize node, if you are on a free version, change it to 4K. For everyone else, resize to comp size, which is 5760 by 2880. Now connect the 3D text to the merge and hit 2 on your keyboard to bring up the merge on the preview window. And you cannot see the text. Wait, what happened? Okay, if you take a look at your render 3D output and loading it up on number 2, you see the comp size of render 3D is humongous. I don't know if this is a bug in Resolve or what. If anyone knows a better way to fix that, please comment below. The way I found work is to resize it. Go back to render 3D, click this button to go to image size, uncheck auto resolution and manually resize width and height to 2880. This is the size of each eyes of your comp, which is based on the size of Insta360 EVO. If you look at the output size of render 3D right now, it is still not right. The width of the two eyes should be 5760 instead of 11520 because all VR180 output has an anamorphic squeeze to fit into a VR headset. So we just need to crop out the extra blank space as we don't need it. Again, if you know a better way to do this, please let the community know. For me, I will split the output into left and right eye. So add a stereo splitter. I like this shift and spacebar search as it has a little icon to remind you what each node does. We also need a combiner to combine the stereo back again. So add a combiner as well. Connect render 3D to the splitter and get left and right eye individual output. Now we just need to crop out the extra pixel. Add a crop. Connect left eye to the crop. Make sure the comp size is 2080 by 2080. Put the crop output onto the preview window like so. Offset Z by 1440. Half of the comp size of 2080 will put the text back in the middle. Since left and right eye is identical, we copy the left eyes with Ctrl+C and paste it with Ctrl+V. Connect the right eye into the new crop and connect both crop to the combiner. Now look at the combiner output, 5760 by 2880. Perfect. It is exactly the same size as EVO. You wouldn't have this issue if you're just using EVO footage or K1 Pro footage. This is a nightmare created by mixing camera, but it's a good way to show you how to troubleshoot and handle problem. As a wise girl once said, if you know how to rollerblade and dump by Joker, you better know how to walk and rob a bank. Not by Harley Quinn. Now go ahead and connect the combiner output to the merge and pipe to media out. Show it on the preview. The text is way too close to the camera. Go back to the 3D text, go back in the transform tab and push the Z in translation back so it's now further away from the camera. Put one on to merge 3D so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So now, how do I know the stereo is correct? Well, if you do not have a VR headset or do not have the paid version of Resolve, you can use Anagraph and a cheap pair of 3D glasses like right here. Add Anagraph no LISO, ship grab and merge it before media out. Look like you just got killed in a video game. Well, in the inspector, make sure the method is color and the stack is horizontal. If you did everything correctly, now you should see 3D. Very cool. But let's face it, it's really hard to see correct 3D with a cheap pair of 3D glasses. And we have not even found out the best conversion distance just yet. If the final delivery is on a VR headset, we should really examine 3D on Oculus Quest or Oculus Rift S. And that is exactly what we are going to do next. Connect Oculus Quest Rift S with DaVinci Resolve Fusion. Connect a VR headset to DaVinci Resolve is surprisingly easy. You don't need to use Steam VR and jump through all the hoop like in Premiere. Plug your VR headset in your computer. For PC, you can use Oculus Rift S, Oculus Quest with Link or Windows Mixed Reality VR headset. On Mac, you can use HTC Vive. After you connect your VR headset, go to Fusion, Fusion setting, VR headset. Here, you can fine-tune your setting, but usually you don't need to touch this at all. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, the VR headset feature does not natively support VR180 just yet, so you need to do some modification to turn it into VR360. If you want to turn any VR180 video into VR360, it is also the exact same workflow. So go ahead and add a splitter to split left and right eyes. Next, we are going to add and crop to make the 180 into 360. So we can eventually convert a side-by-side VR180 into a top and bottom VR360. That is the goal. In the crop, make the Z side to 5760 and Y side to 2880. And we check the keep centers to make sure the 180 is in the center. So it is facing us. Go ahead and copy the exact same crop node to the right eyes. Combine them with the stereo combiner. The combined way will be vertical top and bottom right here. To make sure we did not accidentally swap left and right eyes, put the media on number 1 and combine the result on number 2. The top should match the left eyes, and it does right here. Now, let's see the final result in a VR headset. As you see, the third dot right here, that's number 3 display. If you type in 3 on your keyboard, it will load the preview onto whatever VR headset you have connected. Here is the Fusion Open VR window. You can see what I'm watching right now in my VR headset. Don't worry, I'm not watching anything weird. Am I?
12 seconds later.
Now go back to conversion distance and fine tune the number until you see a comfortable image in your VR headset. Special shout out to Frederick from France figuring out the best distance for EVO, and most of the side-by-side VR 180 camera is 250. Basically, it's infinite. So you actually have to type in 250 in the box to get that value. So that's how infinite that is. So now, if you wear the VR headset, grab a Z value of the 3D text and move it along with the Z axis, you see the text fly in and out in 3D space with perfect disparity. If you like the text is part of the video, which is exactly what we want. You simply can't do this in Premiere. So there you go, if you need a reason to switch to Resolve Fusion 16. I know right now you feel like a superhero or a super bad girl. So why not go crazy? Let's make a real 3D text, do some advanced composition and animate the text from me moving toward the camera. Yes, let's do this. Why not? This is a free YouTube video anyway. Let's just learn as much as you can before your brain gets exploded. Animate 3D text in VR180. So now go back to the text 3D, add some extrusion depth and bevel. Let's make the text to my favorite color, pink. I mean, why not? You don't really see 3D because we need light. Let's go to render 3D and right here, turn on light and shadow. Now shift and spacebar, search light and add a spotlight. Connect that to merge 3D. You see the 3D now. Let's position the light as where it's supposed to be, which is behind your VR180 camera. Right now, it is sitting on top of your camera. You can move the light just like any 3D objects. So I move it over here where my actual production light is. The good thing about this system is we recreate the entire set in 3D space, so you can place object accordingly. You can click this icon to rotate an object in the 3D space. So we point the line to the text like so. Very nice. Now let's animate this. Go to the start of the timeline, move the text to the beginning, wear your headset and make sure the 3D text is not overlapped with the object in the scene. Basically, it is not cover object supposed to be in front of the text. If so, you need to rotate the text part out. Let's save that for the next crazy tutorial by your boy Hugh. Insert keyframe on the Z value. Now move forward, move the Z value to insert another keyframe, and we slowly move the second part of the text in a longer time frame, as you see here in the 2D graph. Now let's add some ECE to smooth out the animation. Open the spline panel, right click, scale to fit, select each keyframe and add an animation curve. Now the animation is really smooth, look at that. Before we add motion blur, let's add some film grain to blend the 3D text into your scene, so it does not look too CG. Now go to render 3D, go to the last tab right here, and check motion blur. Increase the quality if you want better looking motion blur. So for render, as we are going to color grade in color page, so we do not need to convert the VR180 into VR260. So no need to connect the combiner output to the media out 1. We move the enter graph as we don't need it anymore. Now we can go to color page and color grade this. And here is the final result. Epic! Ping fixes in VR180. Another common task in any VR video is to remove unwanted objects or people. If you watch my second DaVinci Resolve tutorial, you're already familiar with ping fixes with let long patcher. If you don't, watch that first. I am assuming you already watched how to use let long patcher many times, so now let me walk you through how to do it in stereoscopic. On preview window number 1, we load the before video from media in. In the preview window number 2, we have the final result. As you see, I have my shotgun mic in the frame and I remove it using ping fixes. Because the shotgun mic looks different from left to right eyes, we need to separate them with stereo splitter, as you see right here. Let long patcher only work in monoscopic 260 video, so we are using crop again to turn the 180 videos of each eye into 260 video. As you see right here, basically we just turn the canvas into 5.7K and then center the 180 video. Now it is the exact same workflow as you already know from my previous 60 video. We add let long patcher, move the rotation to make the shotgun mic in the frame. Use the paint tool to crop it out, reverse the lat long patcher, and merge it back from the crop output. Easy. Do the exact same thing to the right eye. Now use the crop tool again to revert what you cropped originally. Basically, crop it back to 2080 by 2080, combine it with stereo combiner, and voila! The shotgun mic is gone like magic. Do some color grading in your color page, then you are ready to go. How to render VR180 video for YouTube and Facebook. After color page, we move on to deliver page. I use MP4 and H.265 as render codecs. Again, if you are on the free version, use 4K. Quality, we are targeting Oculus Go and Oculus Quest, so we restrict to 80 megabit per second. Again, force sizing and debater to highest quality and then render. If you have a good GPU, the render should be really fast, faster than Premiere. Now, let's get it ready for YouTube VR. If you have not already, go ahead and download the official YouTube VR180 Creator tool. Open it, choose Prepare for Publishing, drop in the video file, hit Export, and then upload the exported file onto YouTube, and you should be good to go. For sideloading onto Oculus Quest and Oculus Go, just rename your file into -180-3D at the end of your file name, transfer the file onto your VR headset, and you can enjoy them locally with high quality. Check out this video for more information. If you have ambisonic audio, you need to merge them with the Facebook Spatial Workstation. I have a tutorial already, so follow this right here. Thank you so much for sticking around. This is not an easy tutorial, I know, but now you are smarter than most of the people in the VR180 industry, and you have the tool and knowledge to create great content that does not make people cross eyes. Please share this tutorial to anyone who decided to create VR180 content. Even they are using Adobe Premiere, they should at least know how to do things correctly in a 3D application or inside DaVinci Resolve Fusion 16. Creating bad content will hurt the industry and give people a bad impression of VR180. Don't be that guy or gal. The next video, we will go to an even more in-depth discussion in stereoscopic 3D 360 VR. Make sure you master the VR180 skill first before moving forward. I built this series based on a learning path. If you skip like episode 1 or 2, you will get lost in the learning. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the curve in virtual reality filmmaking. And I will see you next week. Keep creating, my friends.